What up, what up? This is Finance, Fitness, and Folk, the channel where we discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, and talk about some folk. So I'm going to speak a little bit loudly today because it's still windy today. It's another windy day. And then also I'm walking in rush hour traffic, so it's going to be a lot of cars passing me. So I want you guys to get this message, this information as clearly as possible. So as traffic builds up, I'm going to probably talk a little bit louder. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about credit cards versus debit cards. Which one is better for you? That might not be the title of the actual video when I post it, but that's essentially what I'm going to be talking about. Credit card versus debit card. So for my young people that's watching me right now, and even for folks that's, maybe just a little bit younger than me or even my age, because I cannot assume that everybody knows what a debit card and what a credit card is. It should be obvious information, but at the end of the day, I made this channel so I can inform folks and make sure that folks have correct information. So I'm gonna go over real quick the difference between the two. So a debit card. Debit card is a card that's issued to you from your bank. So whatever bank you bank with, and you have a job and you have your direct deposit going into that bank, they give you a debit card, and you're able to pretty much spend your money from the bank using that debit card. And what a debit card is when you swipe that card, the money comes instantly out of your bank account. You can see it as it come out of your bank account. So let's say I go to 7-Eleven and I don't know, buy a big gulp or something like that. Maybe it costs like $1 or so. I can immediately go to my banking app, look at my bank statement, my bank account, and I'll actually see that transaction come out right then and there. And also it requires a PIN number for you to be able to make transactions with a debit card. Now, a little bit about debit cards. Normally, most banks will actually give you a debit card that's either a Visa or a MasterCard. So this may be a little bit confusing to some folks. So what they're essentially doing is they give you the debit card so you can spend your money instantly wherever you're going to spend your money at, if you're using a card reader. But let's say that particular place you're going to buy something does not take debit. So they essentially make it to where you're able to use credit on top of debit. But the difference is that the credit that's on your debit card does not report to the 3 credit bureaus. It's credit to the bank, if that makes any sense. So let's say you're using your debit card, but you're using it as credit every single time that you swipe your card. You're not putting your PIN in. You skip the PIN, and then you say, well, I just want to make this transaction as a credit transaction. But you can go into your credit report, whether it be Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion, and you will not see those transactions come up there. So like I said, that could be a little bit confusing, but that's essentially what a debit card is. It's a card that's issued to you from your bank for you to spend your money. And they'll normally have either a Visa or a MasterCard emblem on it, just in case you go to an establishment and they do not take debit. A credit card. Credit card is a card that you are issued to from an actual bank as well, right? But it's not your money. It's the bank's money, for lack of better words. I always look behind me because I don't want anybody to run up on me, right? So, but yeah, that's really what a credit card is. Basically you're using the bank's money to spend money, right? But also you're required to pay that credit card off every single month, or at least pay the minimum payment. So those are the difference between the two. Okay, if anybody want any more of an explanation, you can put some comments in the comment section, and I'll make like an intro video explaining the difference between what a credit card is and what a debit card is. So the pros and cons of a debit and a credit. So let's go over the pros and cons of a debit. So of course, one of the pros for a debit is that you're able to see in real time what you're spending from your bank account. So folks that are not good with money, this is a very good way for you to keep track of what you're spending and how much money you have left over once you spend your money. And I would say one of the cons is that, like I said before, even though you may have that Visa or MasterCard emblem on the card, it doesn't report to the credit bureaus saying you use credit. So I would say that's one of the cons. But here's the thing. One of the major cons that is that's associated with a debit card is that, let's say you're the victim of some type of fraud. So let's say, for example, because there's hackers all over the place. Folks are always trying to beat somebody for their money nowadays. So let's say you go to the gas station. Gas station has a card skimmer in the actual the gas pump itself, the gas station pump. What a card skimmer is basically when you swipe your card inside that gas station pump, it's a card skimmer that actually will send information back to whoever is associated with that card skimmer, and they're able to pull the bank card numbers off of that card, and essentially they'll sell your bank card information to somebody else for money. And basically, they can pretty much go into your bank account and pull as much money they want to from your bank account. Basically, hack your bank account. So, a lot of times with banks, if you're a victim of this type of fraud, you have a certain amount of time for you to report it to the actual bank, saying that there was a transaction that was made that was unauthorized, and you didn't make it. If you missed that time frame, there's no guarantee that the bank will give you your money back. So let's say they literally clear your bank account out. Let's say you had like $2,000 in that bank account. Hacker goes in there and clear your bank account out. And then you go to the bank and say, hey, look, I was victim of fraud. Somebody scammed me. Somebody, hacked my account. And they pretty much come back to you and say, hey, I'm sorry, but you missed your time frame. We can't give you your money back. My goodness. This stuff happens, y'all. I mean, this is real life. That's one of the cons of having a debit card. The liability for you to be bamboozled and hacked is on you. Now, one of the pros of having a credit card, you can actually get a credit card to where you get cash back and send it. So basically, you spend a certain amount of money, and the bank will actually give you money back for using their card. Also, you can gather points up, meaning that as you use your credit card, you can actually build what's called credit points with that credit card, and you guys use those points towards hotels, airport stays, vacations, some other things you can use your credit card points for as well. That's one incentive. Also, using your credit actually builds your credit score. That's one of the biggest pros of having a credit card. It builds your credit up every time you use it, as long as you use it properly and use it responsibly. And also, when it comes to fraud, if you're a victim of fraud, the bank, that particular credit card agency will actually pay you. Will actually pay you for your fraud, meaning that if somebody hacks your credit card, that's the bank's money. That's not your money, right? Even though you may use your money to pay the card off every single month, you're essentially using their money, not your money. And the bank is going to insure their money. So that means that if your card gets hacked, it doesn't matter how much money you have in there. Let's say you got a card that has a $500,000 limit, and somebody goes there and hacks and pretty much clear the whole credit card out. Guess what? The bank is going to insure you for every single penny that was hacked from that credit card, versus you having a debit card and the bank may not insure you for any of that money, right? So, of course, once you look at things, there are a lot of cons. There are a lot of pros to having a credit card versus a debit card. But I will say this before I end this video. If you are a person that is irresponsible with money and you're constantly maxing your debit card out, you're bouncing checks, you having overdraft fees to the point to where when you get paid again, you're actually paying back money to the bank in order for you to get the rest of your money, because you're negative whatever in your bank account. If you're one of those people, I would suggest you do not get a credit card. Stay with a debit card. Do your own research, get some help, figure out some financial literacy, and figure out a way to where you're able to be responsible enough with money before you get a credit card. Because you try this thing to where you use a credit card versus a debit card, and you have those type of ways about money, you're going to ruin your credit, and ruining your credit can ruin your life. It really can. It will stop you from doing a lot of things in life. You ruin your credit. So that's one of the things I want to leave you with when it comes to this particular video. If you're a person that you know for a fact that you're irresponsible with money, or you're not able to make more money in order for you to pay your bills, you've maxed yourself out when it comes to your style of living. Get your money right. Get your financial education right, and then from that point, you may be able to go into using a credit card to use as leverage to better yourselves and better your life. All right. So that's the video. Credit card versus debit card. Which one is best for you? You're the only one that can answer that question, right? I'm just giving you the information so you can make a logical decision about which one is better for you. Now, I know for myself, credit card is better for me, because I want to build my credit so I can do a lot of things in life that a debit card is not going to allow me to do. All right. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. We got to get our credit right, y'all. We just have to. And I may do some more videos about credit, because credit is definitely a thing that we need to know when it comes to finance. All right. Finance, fitness, and folk. Triple F, I'm gone.